If you stay to the end, there'll be other bonuses that you'll get. So stay to the end, and you'll also get my that's what you'll get if you stay to the end, a download of my book on funding your dreams. It's about fundraising strategies, a book that was recently published, and a few other things. And I'll also offer you guys some specials at the end. So we're going to begin shortly in just a moment. And I just wanted to say, if you have other browsers open, close them now. If you have mail program open, good to close now, and other tabs open, so you have the full bandwidth for this. Not that it should take up a ton of bandwidth, but if there is any issues, it'll be much easier for you if you have more bandwidth. Okay, so welcome everybody. Hang in there. I'm going to answer every single question you have at the end, so you can take notes as well. So, International Recognition for Artists. Today we're talking about galleries, residencies, grants, and patrons. Let's see. So raise your hand if you feel like you're trapped under a mountain of unsold work, right? This is uncommon. With nowhere to turn, no solution in sight. Where you yearn for something so revolutionary, so life-altering that you'll become the person who never has to worry about obscurity and rejection and making a living as an artist. And instead focus on things that bring you joy, like a good book, a nice bottle of wine, theater with friends. Raise your hand if you want to do it all, get it all, without the endless phone calls, emails, and business stuff, or making an utter fool of yourself in front of people you absolutely despise. Because you just want to make art, right? Not spend your time promoting it. That makes sense. And you're not alone. I hear this all the time from students. In fact, I hear the exact words, I just want to make art, or I can only take so many rejections. Why doesn't the gallery answer my letters? Or I'm getting older. I have lots of work in storage and no sales. So the situation gets worse as I pay for storing my art. Or I'm getting tired of being alone in the studio and getting hassled by my spouse to give up because I'm not showing or selling art. So so glad to see that you guys resonate with some of this. And I don't know if you know, this is my wife and I, after we got into the Whitney Museum Biennial, which was a show of a lifetime. It's a huge, prestigious show. And I got into this without being represented by a gallery. I wrote to them directly. The art world makes it intentionally mysterious, so it's harder for you to break in. They would have you believe you must have an MFA or be beautiful or have groundbreaking work, but none of that is true. I'm here to tell you, it's complete BS, that you need someone else or make different work. You just need to approach it differently. I should also mention that you'll get a free PDF copy of my book, Fund Your Dreams Like a Creative Artist, and the slide deck if you stay on till the end. So how do you know you're in the right place? This is for you if you're an artist that wants more recognition. This is for you if you're sick and tired of paying for shows, enduring rejections from grants and patrons, and getting radio silence from galleries and residencies, toiling away in obscurity and making less than artists who are worse than you. This is for you if you're absolutely done with high-priced consultants with no guarantees, or MFAs that teach you how to defend your work but not how to sell it, and all the mumbo jumbo you hear from the art world. This is for you if you're looking to understand, more about how the art world really works, so you can exhibit more this year, get international, visibility, and sell your art. All right, that's what's important. This is me. I'm an artist, educator, and a Yale University radio host, and author of 5 books and over 1,000 interviews with artists and curators. That's the first book I wrote, Making It in the Art World, and there was New Markets, The Art World Demystified, and the Whitney Biennial is a pamphlet that I wrote quite a few years ago. One of the first things I did, and the recent book out is Fund Your Dreams, which you'll get if you stay to the end, and also selling online. There's a new book that's going to come out shortly. So let me tell you something that I think that no successful artist will admit in public, right? That's why they call it the inner circle, right? You have been lied to repeatedly insistently, shamelessly by the art world. Perhaps these lies aren't meant to be mean, but they often prey on your worst fears. Lies like you need an MFA or you need to be beautiful to make it in the art world. And you must sell online, just do more marketing. And the most insidious of all, you need to be young or odd or avant-garde somehow. No one wants straight painters who make beautiful images. This is exactly what's kept you lost, right? Confused, spending money you don't have, wasting time. You owe your loved ones, right? Feeling beaten before you start. The joy of making art dissipates and suffering ensues because you have no support or way out. You just want to make art. Ignored, your work unsold, paying for storage instead of getting paid. These are, when your art isn't being shown and sales are non-existent, it makes it impossible to get discovered. And you don't want to be paying just for storage, or isolated from people that you love, and alone in the studio, getting hassled by your spouse or partner perhaps to give up already because you're not showing or selling art. And thus you feel kind of beaten before you begin, but no more. Now you are here, you're under my wing, you're under my care, and that alone should make you want to breathe a big sigh of relief, because I have proof of what I'm saying. So how will the next 90 minutes flip your life around? Wiping the slate clean. This is where I will turn every single thing you know about the business of art and getting international recognition, and you'll just sit there with a happy look of, oh my God, on your face. You can steal all my secrets. This is where you literally get to steal my praxis method and make it your own. So you never have to listen to the art world tell you why you can't be commercially successful. Unless you're young, beautiful, and political with an MFA and trendy avant-garde work. The keys to the kingdom. Prepare to be blown out of your chair and into a new world where humiliating rejections, paying for shows and art storage, and slaving away in obscurity don't exist. And you live the life of the successful professional artist, exhibiting and selling work and getting the recognition you deserve, like some of the most powerful people in the art world. You know that list, 100 most powerful people in the art world? It's in, art magazines every year. That usually starts with artists and curators. It's reaching those people. So wiping the slate clean. Let's begin with a reset. Don't we all need a big reset button sometimes? So why do we have to wipe the slate clean? There's the danger of the wrong method. Artists are told to apply to international residencies this way. Just fill out the form, write a good proposal and statement that matches the residency mission. But when you do that, rejections happen. The advice is similar for galleries and grants too. For instance, you write a terrible statement, and as a result, your work is undermined and your application is thrown out. Over the last 5 years, I've interviewed 36 directors of residency programs, 28 gallery directors, and 58 and had 58 students get accepted into residencies. And one thing they have all told me is that you should definitely send in the statement you have if you're a masochist who wants humiliating rejection, right? Something needs to change. The danger of the wrong method, resource, and execution is simply lost opportunities, lost grants, and lost gallery representation. So here's irrefutable proof. 30% of all applications are rejected for common errors. An off-topic writing. Every year since 2005, applications by artists for grants and residencies have dropped, possibly because it's assumed in a poor economy there are less grants or more competition. So it is time to drop preconceived ideas about your potential to win grants, residencies, and gallery representation. The global art market was valued at almost $64 billion in 2017, up from $57 billion the previous year. But maybe you're still not convinced. More people are buying it than ever. And I'm not talking about secondary market sales and auction houses. I'm talking about gallery sales, sales from art fairs everywhere, which is all counted in that statistic. So here's more proof. I owned a gallery for several years, and that's where I learned about how bad artist statements can ruin good art. And one student applied for shows just like she was told after getting an MFA, and later learned that galleries were rejecting her because her writing was too full of jargon, in a word, pretentious. But that's what she learned to do at school. It's not always easy to see where you're going wrong, but often it's in the presentation, which includes your website, your bio and statement, and the way you approach an application. So the next time you feel like blaming yourself for all your problems, remember this. Not all of that is your fault. The art world intentionally mystifies itself, making the rules of the game hard or impossible to understand clearly, often leaving the artist with a feeling of resentment and a sense that there's a clique out there, like a popular high school group that you're not invited into. It's a systematic, a diabolical plan to keep you there. And today we shall demolish their evil agenda, like I demolished my favorite ice cream, which is butterscotch or toffee crunch as a runner-up to mint chocolate chip. So you get to steal my secrets for international recognition. And I've developed a system I call the Insider's Roadmap for International Recognition that gets you your first international residency and exhibit in the next 6 months, plus your first $5,000 from a patron to fund your residency without the humiliation of rejection, the silence of an email that hasn't been responded to, or endless phone calls, emails, and business stuff, so that you can exhibit more, sell your work, and get recognized by the international art world in as little as a year. Even if you are not young, trendy, or don't live near a big city, don't have a fancy MFA, or if you suck at writing. Let me explain. The roadmap I promised you in the emails that you've gotten is the way you get seen internationally. Is you have gallery shows, you have residencies in different parts of the world, because there you meet curators and that helps with shows. You enter museums, biennials, and other international nonprofits. Second. I missed one slide. Let me go up. Whoops. Sorry, guys. I'm missing a slide here, and I just want to get it, but I'm going through the wrong way. So let me go back a little bit if I can. Okay. So the roadmap I promised you, right, is about getting seen internationally, and it's about getting into all these shows so that you can see. It sounds simple, but let me break down the roadmap I promised you. Pillar 1 is residencies. Okay, that's the beginning of it. Pillar 1 is residencies. What are they? What actually happens during a residency? And why are they so important? Well, I'm going to tell you, in residencies, which are often fully funded, if you are accepted, you'll meet curators and you'll make art in a studio. And that's where lifelong relationships can begin, which is one way to establish yourself in the art world. It's also a time to make work and enjoy yourself. It could be in other countries or near your home. Residencies. You'll have time to work and talk to other artists. You'll see beautiful places in most cases, and it'll kind of confirm your identity as an artist. I feel that residencies are very important because it gets you out into the world with your peers. And you'll get support from fellow artists, and especially curators, who are the people that can invite you to shows that they're putting together. However, if you don't want to travel, you can skip this. But don't you want to travel? It's a great thing to do. And I'm going to talk more about the specifics of this. So pillar 2 is galleries, biennials, nonprofit centers. The part of your future that probably seems most exciting is exhibitions, right? Let's begin with galleries. What are they and why are they important to get international recognition? Galleries, as you probably know, are commercial establishments that make their money by selling art, plain and simple. They are looking for art to sell. Everything else is secondary. If they think they can sell your art, you're in. They are a big part of the picture for getting international recognition because they give you a certain type of visibilities to collectors. And when you sell to collectors, they tell their friends, and that is how the word spreads nationally and globally about who you are. But how do you get into one? The importance of commercial galleries is this. When your art is sold, and I'll get to your questions too. If you can't travel, you don't have to. You don't have to do this. There's a number of other methods, and there's local ones as well, depending on where you are in the world. The importance of commercial galleries is this: when your work is in uh, a gallery and sold to good collectors, you're now in collections that are seen by curators and museums, and your work is in the context of other important artworks, and also in an international context. Now, nonprofit centers. So what are they and why are they important? And nonprofit centers are very important for your careers. They are essentially places. Theaters are nonprofit centers. Alternative spaces are nonprofit centers. Collaboratives are often nonprofit centers. Museums are nonprofit centers, and so are biennials. Gallerists often discover artists in nonprofit centers, because nonprofit centers are not commercially oriented, as they don't sell art. So you can do whatever you truly want to do, and you will be judged on merit, not sales ability. Very, very important aspect to an artist's career. And international biennials, what are they and why is it important? International biennials are also nonprofits, but they are the most prestigious showcase in the world for artists. The one I get into was the Whitney Biennial. And for you guys, you're supposed to see the slides and hear my voice, and that's it. You know, my face and live isn't on here. This is live, but just because I see the questions going by, I want to say, and it's good that I see you guys answering it for each other. Thank you so much. So the one I got into was the Whitney Biennial, which is run by the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York City. It was a huge thrill for me and a pivotal moment in my career. It puts you on the international stage. The catalogs go to curators everywhere. Biennials are definitely the largest and most prestigious showcases, and getting into one leads to more. So pillar 3 is grants and patrons. Funding is essential to an artist's career, and there are 2 ways to get funding for your practice. Be it political art, paintings of landscapes, or difficult and uncomfortable themes and ideas. Could be performance, could be film, could be musical ideas, combination of things. So grants, what are they and what are they for? And patrons, what are they for? Let me explain. Grants are gifts of money to individual artists. To either continue what you're doing, no strings attached, merit-based funding for your practice, like the Guggenheim Fellowship, which is $41,000. They're not asking for anything. You get that money essentially with no strings attached. You do what you want with it. Or there's grants that are to support a particular project or idea. That's a grant that, let's say, supports a film of political nature, or a mural project for communities, or something else that aligns with the mission of the granting agency. Now, patrons are individuals that have a lot of money and set up foundations to give it away. With patrons, you're building relationships. They don't want anything from you in exchange. They want to see they want to see you doing what you love. It's the same when a patron gives to a museum. They do not get something from the museum, right? Except the pleasure of knowing that it exists and to flourish. That's all. That's the idea. I'll get into all of this in much more detail. That was the summary so far. The full roadmap is next. So let's step back for a second and ask the perennial question: why is it that that artist with a big show and lousy art doing so well is internationally and is even getting the best critics singing his or her praises, right? There's a few reasons he or she is doing so well. That lousy artist that you look at the work and you think, my work's as good as that or better. That work really isn't that good. But he or she is applying to international residencies and using that as his foot in the door to meet these powerful curators, which then get him into those big shows. He's also applying to grants to fund his residency and practice. Most artists don't apply for grants, and every time there's a bad economic outlook or a president like the one we have now, all over the world there's a move to the right. There are less applications because everyone tends to think that arts funding is over, but it's not. because nobody else is applying, that makes it very easy for that lousy artist to snatch the grant. Same goes for patrons. An artist recently was talking about just this process, and said he asked discreetly the director of a major local art center how and why this happens. Why did that artist get in and it wasn't so good? And she took the time to show him. She opened a file drawer, pulled out several examples of applications for grants and residencies, and one by one, she showed him what selection committee members look for. In more than one case, she admitted, here's some work everyone loved, but the proposal is so sloppy, inarticulate, and disorganized. Well, in this case here, though the proposal is not so interesting, it is succinct, neat, complete, and was received on time, giving us the confidence that this applicant can do what they propose without supervision. That, she said, was what makes the difference. And absolutely, sometimes great artists get grants too, and that's a given. I'm really kind of focusing on how do artists that aren't famous get that, and they're getting it all the time. So if you're not sure I'm telling the truth, you can do what I just mentioned. Go to that gallery and ask for the artist's resume, which they always have on hand, and you'll see exactly what residencies they went to, what grants they won, and what curators they have worked with. It'll be spelled out quite clearly. So you, the artist with international aspirations, right? Here is exactly what I do. The exact steps I'd take between now and May if I were in your shoes and wanted to get my first international residency and exhibit in the next 6 months, as well as $5,000 from a patron or a grant to fund it. And I'll get into exactly where you find patrons. So here's the insider's roadmap to get your first international residency and exhibition in the next 6 months, and your first $5,000 from a patron to fund it. Pay close attention to this part, because I will lay it all out for you now, as I promised, step by step, month by month. It will work from wherever you start, but I will start with November and end in May. Or we could do December and end in May. So, but let's say November, determine the international residencies you will target. These aren't hard to find, and I'll tell you where to find them. But you make a list of residencies you can apply to. That's the beginning. Res Artist is one of those places. It's a great website that has residencies from all over the world. Residency Unlimited is another great website that has resources to find residencies, again, from all over the world. They also have something on there called Rivet, which is a great resource for more residencies, as well as good international open calls, because you don't want a lousy open call that tells you, to pay some money for something or something like that. You want a really good one. So make a list of 20 residencies is the action item here. There's every month, Praxis students get a list of residencies. So if you want someone else to do all this work for you because you don't have the time to do it on your own, or because you aren't good at online research, that's okay. This is something Praxis Center can help with. Just wait until the end of the webinar and I'll discuss what kind of additional support is available. Sandra. And by the way, guys should know, education is my passion. I'm a writer, right? Artists often do multiple things. Though I got into the biennials, and I've recently been in another biennials, and I have patrons, am in a show that's just ending in New York City right now at EFA Space, curated by Nicholas Dumit Estevis. Artists tend to, who do well, as I have, often tend to want to find ways to give back, creating communities, which is what this is, and creating other things to do. So there's plenty of successful artists that are also doing multiple educational initiatives. I interview 5 people every week. I don't even get paid to do it. I do it because it's part of an educational resource and it turns me on. It's something I'm excited about. So you make a list of 20 residencies is the first thing to do here, to go through this whole roadmap. And if you want someone else to do all this work for you, that's possible. We can talk about it at the end of the webinar. But step two is to choose which residencies you'll apply to. Now, here's what's critical, because these are criteria that all residencies must meet. They must have curators coming through and public lectures and discussions, or it's a waste of time. That's essential, right? They must have funding to pay for you to come, unless it's in your hometown, or you can get the match whatever, make up whatever the difference is that they don't have. They must have a proper studio for you to work in. And if a residency doesn't meet these criteria, then it will be a waste of your time and money, and it won't get you international recognitions. Number one is particularly important, having curators coming through that are important, that are worthwhile meeting. And that'll be in the applications that you'll see, that'll be in the calls. So evaluate your residency list using the 3 criteria and strike off any targets that don't meet them. So mistakes artists make: they pick a bad residency. They end up with a high-priced studio in another country and no curators or connections. That's one. Another one is the residency is a good one, but the artist doesn't know what to say to the curator when they visit the studio. Those 2 mistakes rob you of money and leave you feeling like you can't talk. Both are horrible feelings, and both stop artists from moving forward. Sometimes it's not easy to tell if a particular residency meets these criteria based on publicly available info. In that case, you want to ask a mentor, an art world insider, for advice like, I can't find enough info. What's the inside word on this residency? Is it respected in the art world? Or, so I'm not sure about this particular residency because there is a fee. What do you think? Is it worth spending my $5,000 grant for a month there? As a Praxis member, you can ask me, you can ask other experts in the group, and you can see if other Praxis members have been there before. But on with the roadmap. December, you put your application materials together and send out, this is the 6-month roadmap, and send out applications to the residencies you chose. You can contact the residency. If there's an issue and you don't understand something, you can contact them and ask questions. They're always available. And just so you guys know, yes, you will get a replay. If you stay to the end, you'll get the whole slide deck here. You don't have to write this all down. Write down your questions and save your questions for the end. I will answer all of your questions then. I promise. I'll answer every single one. So the 4 application ingredients that are really essential is your bio, which should be about 250 words, which is pretty short. Keep it very concise, 3rd person, and about the same format as what authors do on the back of books. Very simple, just the facts. And your statement about why you want to go there. This is not an artist statement, and this is where you shine. This is where you explain why it would be helpful to be in that environment and community. And this is where you can talk about ideas you are working on, questions you have, and experiments you want to do. Your website must be up to date. And have a blog on it and some good navigation, something clear. And your art, pick only the best images, ones that are photographed professionally. No hot spots or out of square images. That will definitely stand out as amateur. So to get into this a little deeper, the bio is often confused with the artist statement and often gets mixed up. Your bio should be in 3rd person, not first. And keep it at 250 words or so. Mention education and a bit about who you are, where you live. A great model is authors' bios on the back of their books. You can often substitute the bio for a resume or CV, especially if you have a very short resume, not a lot of shows. And the artist statement is a recent invention, and it's one of the more vexing pieces of writing. It's a post-70s, mid-80s invention because of all the conceptual art that could not always be photographed. So a statement was allowed to assist you, right? If your work is about sound or something that's not easily visualized, a statement was necessary. But then it became the norm, and it's the strangest piece of writing ever. Your artist statement. Is it a manifesto, a statement on who you are or why you make art, or your personal philosophy? It's all in none of those things. So I suggest avoiding it at all costs if possible. Not everyone asks for that. But if you must write one, keep it simple and understandable, and never explain why you make art. Never. We all make art for more or less the same reasons. But how we make it is different with everyone, and our intentions are different. But instead, either explain your process, or if you want to get intellectual, just make an analogy to a book you are reading, or a movie, or a philosophy, to give an insight into your work. It is not a bio. It's always in first person because it's your statement. So keep it short and clear and readable, meaning it is worth reading. And I want to thank all of you guys who are answering questions for me about answering questions in the chat. Thank you. Your website is very, very important, as it is the first thing that most people see about you when looking at your art. It should be very simple to navigate. A blog on there is a must. A bio should also be there and well written. It should not be a giant archive to go through, but a carefully curated collection of your work that can be easily seen. You can have a link that's an archive, but you're trying to give people a snapshot of what's happening. And if you need help editing and writing your application materials, I'll tell you more later, because there is an editor, wanting to look at your writing and help. And I evaluate all members' websites and give advice to improve them. And yes, blogs I'll talk about more later, but they're very important. In all applications to residencies and anywhere else, your art must be photographed professionally. And if you can't get it done, do it yourself, but be sure there's no hot spots of light in your work and that it's square in the frame. Good lighting is a must. Absolutely. But here's the one piece of critical information that must be in all applications to residencies, grants, and even patrons, so that you can dodge the trash can, skip the queue, and become a finalist. Your ideas are interesting and show that you're a centralist, interested in the world, in people, in art, in collaboration. In short, you are hopeful. That may seem obvious, but it's often not there. If you were inviting 11 artists to stay for a week in your home, what kind of people do you want to be around, right? You want to be around people who want to be there and who aren't hermits, right? This is critical because a residency is a community, and they are not looking for hermits that don't converse. They want to be able to love you. And also, you must do this in an organized way. Otherwise, there's the biggest mistake. When artists leave that out, they end up intentionally sounding hopeless, or at least not a people person. And of course, that makes their application a fail immediately, because we all want to be around nice people that inspire us, not the opposite. The organizations of your thoughts is key, but even if organized, what I've just said becomes even more important. It may seem simple, but the idea of presenting yourself as someone who's enthusiastic and excited your work can still be dark or difficult issues or about death and dying and all kinds of things. That doesn't mean you're not hopeful and a really fun person to be around. So step 4, apply to 10 residencies by December 31st. If you're a praxis student and you need specialized help on any of these steps, we've got you covered. You have access to a professional editor. I'll review your website and make suggestions. You'll have a step-by-step course on this process. And what to do during a residency. In the residency itself, you will have a studio to make art, but it is also there that you meet curators and start building relationships, because now you have curators in your studio that could help you, put you in biennials and international exhibits. That's how you get these big shows. So talking to curators, what happens? As the curators come into your studio, the work will begin to speak for itself, as it should. However, it's time to have a conversation about the work. This is the crux of the residency, and where you will either make or break it. Research the curator so you know about them. Google them. Know who they are and what shows they've done. Talk about ideas related to the work, books you are reading, questions you are thinking about, and your process, how you make it. That's all. And that will be everything. So talking to curators, the mistake that is often made when curators come to an artist studio is either the artist doesn't talk or ask questions, or the artist explains the work too much, or the artist isn't listening closely to the curator. or the artist doesn't know who the curator is. Really important issues to know about. Avoid these mistakes and get a conversation going, and you're at the top of your game, and you will get recognition. They'll be interested in you. If you want more help with a conversation or someone to practice with, I will tell you about that at the end of the webinar. But it's essential to be able to engage them, and through knowing who they are is one of the best ways to know previous shows they've curated. It'll also tell you whether you're appropriate for that particular curator. So use the residencies to get more nonprofit exhibits. You'll be talking to other artists and hear more about shows and galleries. Remember the importance of nonprofit centers? The reason shows there are important is because you will meet even more curators. They don't sell art there, remember? They just show it. They're educational. The residency is where you will learn firsthand about more of these centers. Funding is what happens next in the next month. January, you just received your acceptance to attend a dream residency. Now you're getting together funding. So that means grants and patrons, which is step 5 and 6 in your roadmap here. So let's start with grants. Grants are what makes the art world go round. It helps artists all over the world make paintings, sculptures, films, music, performances, and more. The best place to find out about grants is your local library. I'm serious, your local brick and mortar library usually will have a grant section. Ask the librarian. It's kind of nice to have a person there to ask too. There are, of course, other places for grants, and you can search online or use a comprehensive directory like the Foundation Center in New York City, which is free if you go there in person and has many other locations. That's the Foundation Center. You can type into their bar, what are you looking for? And you can say grants for individuals, because there's a lot of different grants for organizations, for all kinds of things. You're looking for grants for individuals. So how to apply and win grants. What do you need to do to apply and secure them? Here is the method I recommend. After you research, then the process begins to fill out the grant. This is the method I suggest. And that one I mentioned, the Foundation Center, there's lots of other places. The Foundation Center is enormously comprehensive with an amazing database to search through. After you research, then the process begins to fill out the grant. And this is the method. Put the deadline in your calendar. That's what I do. And add the 2-week reminder and 1-week reminder and a 3-day reminder. So that's 4 reminders in your calendar. Otherwise, you end up doing it at the last minute. And at the 2-week reminder, read the whole grant. Really, I know it seems hard to read through the whole grant, but that makes all the difference in the world, because you may realize, oh, this isn't really the grant for you, or something like that. At the 1-week reminder, finish it. At the 3-day reminder, it's time to polish and show it to a friend or teacher. And grants are won by writing a clear application, and also by being sure the grant is a fit for you and aligns with the organization's mission. So you'll see that grants, have certain ideas of what they want to fund. You can look at who they previously fund and look at their mission. That's why you read it through, to make sure that this fits you. So grants are also won by submitting more than one. It's a numbers game. Successful grant writers keep using the same materials and apply for multiple grants. They're easier to get than you think. It's not nearly as competitive as you think. The Guggenheim Foundation, a huge national grant for Canada and the US, got under 1,000 applications last year for artists, out of the tens of thousands of eligible artists in the US and Canada. So the action item is to apply for 5 grants then by January 31st. This is still in the month of January I'm talking about, and you don't have to apply to all of them this month. Just get all the deadlines in order. It may stretch over several months or the whole year. And sometimes it's not easy to find the right grant, right? Maybe you have a question like, is this a good grant for me? Is it worth paying a $25 fee? Good question. As a praxis student, you get grant lists that are handpicked to save you the hassle. You can ask me questions about grants, and you can ask other experts in the group and members that have already applied to that grant. if you're interested in getting that kind of support, wait until the end of the webinar because I put together something special for you. So now patrons, to fund your way. I'm sure this is what a number of you are interested in knowing more about as you talk more. Where do you find them? What do you have to do to get them to support your work? Well, let's get into that. Where are those patrons? They're listed extensively on museum websites under categories like benefactors and angels, a whole list of them. If you look at local museums, those people are the wealthiest patrons near you. So again, this is on membership pages. If you decide to donate $1,000 to a museum or to get a membership from that museum at the $1,000 level, they will put your name on their website or on a specific place on their website in membership that shows that you've given $1,000 or $1,000 to $5,000. That's where you find the people. These are living people nearby you that like to give money to the arts. So once you have their names, you can Google them and get their phone number and learn about what they do. They all have foundations, so you'll be able to find them. And again, I'll answer all your questions at the end of this webinar, so write them down, and I'll get to every single one, or you can type them in at the end. So what to send to potential patrons? Write a direct, you can either, there's three methods. You can write a direct letter soliciting a donation, which is the most popular. You can write a letter asking for a brief meeting in a cafe. Personally, that's what I like to do because it's about a relationship. Or you can write a letter or ask in person for a studio visit. But let's break that down a little bit. In one way, it's very straightforward. You write a letter to a patron and either ask for a meeting or you ask directly for support of your practice or for a particular project. There's nothing they want in return except to see you flourish and to learn about your art and about art in general. They're in it for the long game, so it's a relationship to nurture. It's not just they're looking for somebody to throw money at. You know, they're learning. They're sensitive people. That's why they're deciding to give money to the arts. But let's go through the three types of letters to write. You can write a direct letter soliciting a donation, which is the most popular one. This is a letter introducing yourself, as well as making clear you know who they are and asking directly for a donation to a residency or a particular project. You can also ask for a donation to a residency just to continue your studio practice. The letter should contain three things: who you are, what you need support for, and a very easy way to send money, like a PayPal link. And by a PayPal link, not just your email or PayPal, you'd make a paypal.me link, which is a very easy way for people to click and just go right to it. Or an address for a check to be sent, which is important because a lot of people still want to send checks. And that's how foundations work. They don't work through paypal.me. Or you could write a letter asking for a brief meeting in a cafe. Now, what I do is I write letters to people asking for a brief meeting, ideally in a cafe close to where they work. So when you Google them, you'll find their address. You'll see where their foundation is. You can ask for a meeting close by there. And that is convenient for them. Doesn't take a lot of time out of their day. Offer to take them out to coffee or lunch. In that meeting, you have a conversation about both of you, and you either ask for support right there or invite them for a studio visit and set up a date. No question, it takes more bravery to do this, but that's a direct way to build a relationship very fast. You can write a letter or ask in person for a studio visit. This letter asks directly for a studio visit, and it's the hardest to get the response you want because you're a stranger to them and you're inviting them into your home or studio. However, if you make it clear that they can bring a friend and that they'll be in a comfortable space, it can, that's a safe space. It can also be a great way to begin a relationship. And then you can ask for support either in person when they are in your studio or send a letter after the studio visit. So the secret to a successful ask. Patrons get pleasure out of giving away money. There is nothing they want in return but your dream to be realized. When talking in person, use this line after showing some of your work. You can say, "This is my dream. Have you ever thought of investing in a dream?" Then pause. Wait. This is the moment in the conversation when things get exciting. Don't jump in to fill up the silence. Wait. And they will say something like, no, I never thought of that. How does that work? Then you explain to them what it means to be a patron, and that by supporting your dream for as little as $100 a month, they will be given an inside track on your studio progress and how this dream blossoms. You could also ask for a one-time donation, like $5,000 to make this dream happen. This may seem hard to believe, but it is how artists of all types raise money all over the world. It's how patrons work with you. And yes, it does take some bravery on your part. I hope you're writing this stuff down or listening closely. I'll give you the deck afterwards of all these slides if you stay to the end. But because one or two conversations like I just mentioned could change your life. It will also make you feel like someone believes in you. Because when a patron gives you money to do your residency or your next series of paintings, it's no different than saying in the clearest way possible, I believe in you. And this is powerful medicine for any artist, financially and emotionally. And yes, that applies to very experienced patrons like museum benefactors. Resources. My most popular and most expensive course, Patrons and Sponsors, is about how to build relationships with these people. In that course, you have templates of letters that you can use to write to patrons. So all you have to do is to fill in the blanks. Then I will personally edit those letters before you send them out. It's an $800 course, but because you're on this webinar, you might get it for free. I put together a special membership bundle that includes this course. And again, I'll answer all your questions at the end because patrons are not looking for artwork or prizes at all. In the same way, they're not looking for art when they give a museum $100,000. They get nothing for that except the joy of being a donor to that museum. So the mindset is huge here, right? Which you're probably feeling already. Maybe you know what I'm going to say. How important do you think your belief in all this is? How important is your belief in your own greatness, in your own beauty, in your own talent? You believe in yourself enough to be here now. The next step is pure bravery. Bravery is not just a step in the roadmap. It's the pavement of that map. It's the material the map is written on. So how do we access the bravest parts of ourselves? We are not inventing it. It is already there, just like courage itself. It's waiting for the moment it is needed. If you plan to do this roadmap after the webinar, you will be ready. And so it is the time to muster up that courage, that bravery to use the map I haven't finished telling you about. If it's something that you can muster up, as they say, it is about intent, not nature. The force is all around you. If it is about intent, then I am sure you are most of the way there. Because at this very moment, probably you intend to keep making art and exhibit it nationally and internationally. Hold on to this feeling. Know that when you lose this feeling, you can indeed muster it up. You can call on it, and it will come to aid you. The trick to muster up bravery is to know it is already inside you and to remind yourself of that all the time. Take at least that from this webinar, this roadmap. In the Praxis membership, you will see lots of bravery. In the group forum of artists and teachers you can interact with, you'll also see struggles with bravery and hesitation. And that's where the teachers and your fellow artists come in to support you and help you muster up that energy and that courage. But more on that later. On with the roadmap. We are in the last 4 months of the 6-month roadmap. Now you have started your applications and you should have the funding to go. You're on a defined path. So step 7 is gallery exhibits. These are the next 3 steps to get that. First, make a short list of galleries to visit that are not more than a 45-minute drive. Because you could be in places where there aren't major cities. So let's cap it at that, a 45-minute drive. Visit those galleries and evaluate them by talking to the curator about the art. How do you do that? I'll tell you, you walk into a gallery and you know those people at the front desk that you think it's hard to get beyond? Say to that person at the front desk, and remember, you're just checking out the gallery, just checking it out. You look around at the art on the walls. You see if you like this place. And you think, the art's not bad. So you say to the person at the front desk, can I talk to someone about the art over here, that particular work over there? And that person at the front desk will immediately get the curator or the gallery director to come right out. And when that person comes out, they'll say, "Can I help you?" And say, "Yeah, I have a few questions about this art." And when you begin talking to them about that, which is, well, I'm going to get into that a little bit. When you talk to them about that, and they'll start talking to you about the art itself, and see if you like the way they're talking about the art. It's okay to shop, and not say I'm an artist and this is what I'm doing. You're just talking to them like anybody. And then the other thing is you can call them up when you get home and ask this simple question: do you look at the work of new artists? If the answer is no, that's okay. Nothing personal. This is really simple to do. If the answer is yes, then ask who to send work to and ask how they like to see images and attach an email or website. But again, what I was just saying, once you are in one of those galleries, just look around, pick up the information about the artist being exhibited, which usually has a resume attached. And again, if you're feeling brave, as I was saying, ask the person at the front desk if you can talk to someone about the art and point to a particular piece. You'll find that either the director or a head curator will come right out, snapping at your heels, dying to help you. It's a wonderful feeling. Then just explain you are interested in knowing more about this work. Point to it. Ask who the artist is and how the work was made, or another question. You can ask more intelligent questions than most because you're an artist. And you'll see how they're talking. Do you like their vibe? Do you like the way they're selling you the art? If you like it, the way they're talking, then that's a gallery you might be interested in, and you can get home and call them up. If you don't like the way they're talking and don't want your work to be sold like that, obviously you don't want to pursue them. So after those 3 steps, you send in what the galleries say. Remember, you call them up when you get home, the ones you like. You say, do you look at the work of new artists? If they say no, fine, you hang up. It's nothing personal. If they say yes, say, what should I send? What email should I send to? What do you guys want to see? Sometimes they say a website or images, just attach images, but do what they say. They'll ask for website or images or something like that. And follow up by going to the gallery or writing an email and asking if they saw the work after you send them this. Then keep asking until you get an answer. Do not accept silence for an answer. Silence is usually a sign of an overworked person. There is so many out there that are just overworked. Do not accept silence for an answer. It will not hurt you to pursue it. In fact, when artists keep pursuing things, it says to the gallerist, this person's serious. As long as you remain polite, it shows that you're ambitious and you want something badly. If you give up right away, that says to them that you give up right away. And, it doesn't exhibit the same amount of passion. So if you do that with all the 6 galleries or so that you have on your list, you will find that you have some real favorites. And it's probably because you liked the way they talked about the art. The next step is to call the remaining galleries that you liked on the phone. Courage, remember? Use the method I taught you above to contact those 6 local galleries. Use them as your training wheels so you don't feel like a fish out of water, right? When you have to do this overseas with foreign galleries during your residency. It's the same process everywhere, right? Just send in the right materials so that they can see your art. How you send them the materials is critical here. If it's a bio, a statement, or a website, as well as your images, it should be polished because you only have this one shot after they ask you something like that, right? So very, very important. Preparing for your residency. In the last 4 months, while you wait for your residency to start, you can practice presenting yourself to a curator. Do this with a friend and ask your friend to pretend they are a curator looking at artist studios. Preferably another artist who understands what a curator is. Remember the touchstones, your work, your interests. Listen to the curator closely. And when talking about galleries, it is the same. Whether you're in New York City, Chicago, LA, it's the same everywhere, really. Praxis Center is here to help you with this difficult step with preparing for a curator. Besides the resources, there is also a chance to present yourself for feedback so this process of preparing is even easier. In Praxis Center, there's a gallerist to answer your questions and presentations. You can test out your presentation beforehand, like your bio and statement and pitch and other questions you may have so you get it right the first time. But the roadmap isn't done. In the last few months, you're at the residency, so there's more preparation to do. there's biennials, and when you're at a residency, part of what you're going to have your eye on also is the other biennials that exist and that are around. So let's talk a little bit about that. One directory for biennials is called Universe and Universe, and they have a regular listing of biennials and their curators and their themes. They all have themes. This is what the front page of one looks like, showing you all of them. Taipei, Cuenca, Brazil, Sharjah, they're all over the world now. And stay to the end, Mike, I'll answer your question as well as everyone else. Another one is the directory of biennials, and this is what their front page looks like. Huge listing of biennials. There's an enormous amount of them. And these are very prestigious showcases. Some biennials have ways to apply, others do not. For the ones that do not have a way of applying, you can do what I did to get into the Whitney Biennial. Write the curator a letter, plain and simple. It is really that simple. I had no reputation, no gallery representation, and I got in. Biennials give you an international stage and can be a huge boost of visibility in an artist's career. They are the most prestigious form of visibility. So check to see if there are any biennials during your residency time and while you're there, and plan and apply for them ahead of time. Now, step 9 is the nonprofit centers, because showing in a nonprofit center is also a community experience, and you will make new friends and find new supporters as well. Where do you find these nonprofit centers? Well, in the United States, you can look up your local state council on the arts, or in Europe or around the globe, there are art councils and ministries of culture. Look them up and either call or go through their websites, and you will see the nonprofits in your region. The nonprofits you will find will support visual arts, dance, film, theater, and more. In most cases, there's an application to fill out, and that is all. In the US, the National Endowment for the Arts has a great directory, which looks a bit like this. They're breaking it down by states, regional agencies. There's a ton of them. And remember, their goal isn't to sell art, it's to show it. So it's educational, and that's why it's a great place for gallerists to find artists, because there's simply just good art there. You can begin with just one nonprofit. You learn how to apply and then take your time with the first application, because the most important thing in an application to nonprofit exhibitions is how you present yourself as a serious artist that has something to say, because they are not interested in sales again. They're interested in good art. Once you apply for a few, the rest are easy and even fun to apply for. The first step is the hardest, but isn't that always the case with just about everything? As a member of Praxis Center, you'll get support for your biennial aspirations as well as feedback to make your presentation that much better, so you can have a better chance of getting it in. Getting in. The roadmap is nearing its end. Remember where we started? It was this Praxis method for international recognition. Residencies, galleries, biennials, nonprofits, the application materials, which are so important. Now you see what's happening here, right? What the elements of this roadmap are. So the Praxis method brings together all of these elements so you can know for sure you're presenting yourself professionally and that you are presenting yourself in the best possible light. Also, it's a method you can use over and over again once your website, mindset, application materials, and ability to have a conversation with a curator are in place. Now you also have a 6-month plan to do it all. So that was the Insider Roadmap I promised, step by step in 9 steps totals. That's exactly what you need to do to get your first international residency exhibit in the next 6 months, plus $5,000 from a patron to do it. As I mentioned throughout, if you need specialized help with a how-to, the correct execution of those steps, don't worry, I've got your back. I put together a special program to help with that. So, is your head exploding yet? I know that was a lot, right? So let me ask you this. If there was a breathtakingly easy way to navigate the highest tiers without endless phone calls, emails, and business stuff, so you can exhibit more, make sales, and finally get the recognition you deserve, instead of being seen as a minor artist in as little as 1 year, would you take it? Even if you think, I can't write, That's why I am an artist. And that's why I never get grants or residencies or anything else. Who knows, maybe my art isn't good enough or trendy enough. Even if you can't go to every show because you're older or disabled or not near a big city. Even if you have too much art in storage or must work all day to pay the bills and your spouse is not as supportive as they could be. Even if you've tried all this before, it never seems to work and you always end up in the same place with less money, more rejections. Sounds a bit out there, right? So allow me to introduce case study. This is Ruth.
Hi, my name is Ruth Chase. I'm a visual artist. I have been in praxis for 2 years, and what I have gotten out of it is mostly the community. I mean, I live in a small town, and a lot of my work really isn't relatable to where I live. So the community of artists has been phenomenal. Many people doing what I'm doing, and many more people doing far more than what I'm doing. So I learn a lot from them, but also from the workshops that Brainerd has, as well as the professionals that come in to teach these workshops, has really kept me on top of the latest information about how to get into museums and grant writing and on and on and on. Anyhow, thank you, Brainerd. I love Praxis, and thank you for starting it.
Here's another case study. Barry Wingard. He wanted to thank everyone for their encouragement, he says. This is right from the Facebook group, the private group that you'd be in if you're a member. I finally got up the nerve Friday to send out by snail mail my letters, and they landed in their boxes today. I got my first 1,600 promised tonight over the phone. Yippee! Brainerd was so right. I was thanked repeatedly for allowing my work to be sponsored. Talk about being excited. Wow. I did my email campaign last night, and very early this morning, I got my first response back. I've had emails, texts, and phone calls all day asking questions. I don't know where all this is going, but it's a fun ride so far. If you've been sitting on the fence with sending out your letters, just do it. Heaven knows I've been sick worrying about it. What a waste of my time. There's Noah Saunders, who became an international artist when he was accepted into his first show. Hey gang, keeping you up to date, so my career has taken off. I am, as of September 22nd, an international artist. As awesome as this is for me personally, I haven't stopped there. I'm using this new success and the doors it has opened up for me to expand the way people conceive the art scene, both within and without of my home community, Athens, Georgia. I am actively working with the Athens Convention and Visitors Bureau, the local government of Athens, the Luxembourg Consul of Georgia, the U.S. Ambassador in Luxembourg, to name a few, to do what I can to give back to my state and community via bringing as much attention to the one simple idea as possible. Artists not only live in Georgia, they thrive in Georgia. What if I told you it takes less time each week than your grocery shopping? Typically, an artist in the school sees rapid progress in a year just working at this 30 minutes a week. What if I told you it's as easy as filling in the blanks? You get templates for contacting patrons, for writing letters to galleries, as well as scripts for calling them. All you have to do is fill them out. It's almost done all for you. Artist statements and bios are also the hardest part because it's the first thing a grant agency will read. And if it's that bad, you're finished. So in the courses, an editor will help you edit your statement and bio. What if I told you even a first-year student can do this with no experience, without any training, or a mid-career, or an advanced artist? That you wouldn't even have to make endless phone calls, emails, and business stuff, because I know that you want to make art, not spend your time promoting it. That you don't even need to be a young, beautiful, big city artist with trendy avant-garde work. That all it takes is to have a little faith. That those who have faith are rewarded with exhibits and patrons and grants and prestigious biennials and press and sales. Seems impossible, yes? Here's some more from the group. Did a group show last Friday at a local gallery. Thanks for the encouragement, says Christine. Patricia, this is confirmation of my first sponsor donation. Woo! I am thrilled to be included as one of 14 new exhibition lobbies at the Oakman Building in Jersey City. Ruth, I found out, the one you saw before in the video, the first video, that I was accepted into my first museum through a regional call. And Noah, you heard of, my career has just gone international. Jeffrey Kellner, Says Supreme Court has selected as the grand prize in the Humans 2018 exhibit by Krista Dix to be held at Jadeite Gallery. Andre Cohen said, I've been accepted to the Sedona Summer Colony Artist Residency. I'm thrilled to get the opportunity to work with other artists and broaden my perspective. I attend July 21 to August 4th. I hope to meet patrons and sponsors of the Sedona Art Center and possibly gallery owners in Sedona, Arizona. Jennifer, I'm thrilled to announce that I have been awarded a month-long residency in Whakatane, New Zealand. Kara, since so many others are sharing, I'm happy to announce that I've been accepted into the Tony Only Artist Project in Wells this July. I have also been given a scholarship to attend. I'm excited and nervous to have this opportunity to be away from my family responsibilities for 10 days to focus entirely on my art-making process. I'm also really looking forward to meeting and learning from the mentoring artists, Lisa Milroy and Jen Mann, as well as the other artists in attendance. This is my first time attending a residency program, and the first time I'll have been in a classroom since graduating in 2000. Any advice on getting the most out of this opportunity, appreciated. Laura says, I got 1,500 using this letter. It was approved by Fractured Atlas, my fiscal sponsor, that I learned about through this course. It would be embarrassing to tell you how much time it took me to write this, but I want a year in my studio with all my heart. Hope says, and this happened, coverage in the national newspaper, The Times, through press release I forwarded to a journalist, and about $50 in in-kind sponsorship from our local grocer for my exhibit tonight. Allison sent out an update, sent out a few letters this morning, got my first PayPal donation within a few minutes. Thank you, Brainerd Carrier, for telling me on Monday about the paypal.me link. For those who haven't used it, it's easy, quick, and efficient. Sarah says I put out letters to local businesses to sponsor my upcoming Bay Area performance of my one-woman show. And so far, one said yes to $100, one for $200. I'm so excited. That covers half of my production cost. Barbara sold 5 prints to the Julie Ellis Glickman Lauder Collection, had an exhibit at a museum in Portland where the Lauders are associated. The curator showed them the body of work. That's my first sale of the work from American Bedroom. As soon as I land on my feet from a long trip in the South, I want to learn more about galleries, museums, and patrons from Praxis. Lance Jackson got 400 in donations and saw a drawing for $225. You'll see a lot of these people in the group if you become a member. Alexander received 1,000 today. I want to add that it was face-to-face conversation showing the letter I was preparing to send to the patron, and he just sat and wrote out 2 prepared money orders. So, if you want to wake up to an email from a gallery asking to exhibit your work, start your day by making art instead of business stuff on social media, because a check for that $10,000 grant you applied for just came through in the mail. Or decide to go to lunch with a patron and a collector friend of his who wants to purchase multiple pieces without having to worry about what to say or how to present your work. If you want to go to bed satisfied, gratified, feeling like a rising star who's finally getting the recognition she deserves in the art world. And go through your week with more time in the studio and far less resentment at the art market, because other people are believing in you now and proving it by buying your work or being a patron. Or making it a habit to go for a leisurely stroll to your studio on a Monday. Doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore. Your calendar for the year says, this artist has made it. A winter residency in Berlin, then an exhibit there, and off to see the Venice Biennial and a few other major art biennials around the globe, and a summer residency in Italy or Holland, all funded in full by your sponsors. I want that for you, right here, right now. So I'm introducing the Praxis Center membership. It's a VIP edition, which is everything you need to make it in the art world in one place. For those of you who stayed at the end, there's something special for you, and also I'll answer all your questions. It shows you how the art world really works. You can get more exhibits, more recognition, and more sales this year. It helps you get into prestigious shows and museums and biennials and finally get the kind of international recognition and raving reviews that actually lead to sales. It helps get you grants and sponsors and patrons to support your work with personal support from professional editors, gallerists, and grant writers, without the need to do endless phone calls, emails, and business stuff, without the need to face humiliating rejection and the dreaded silence of an email that hasn't been responded to. In as little as 1 year, even if your work isn't trendy or avant-garde, even if you can't write or network or negotiate and suck at all the business stuff, even if you can't go to the shows all the time because you're older or disabled or not near a big city. Seems impossible, right? Allow me to introduce Barry. You saw him before. He raised $1,600. Today has been a whirlwind type of day. I have lots I want to share with all of you, but the details are not finalized yet. But I will tell you, my project was completely funded by one patron today. All 17,600. I still have the other 1,600 coming in. I still can't believe it. Thank you, Brainerd Carey, for teaching this class, and I want to thank all of you that nudged me to jump in and do it. Jennifer said, greetings, I'm new to the group and I've stalled beginning this program for many reasons, but the sad truth is I'd rather chew off my own leg than ask for money. Last night I forced myself to ask a local radio station with your templates, and what do you know? I got $500 in free airtime for my project, and here I am standing on two legs. I can do this. I'm even looking forward to doing this. And Rose was offered a major show at a college, completely out of the blue, because the curator found my work online. Today, I got an email from the producer of Maryland's public television artwork series. They want to feature my work. I know it's local, but I watched that show. And if you're into art, it's kind of a big deal here. After I got done freaking out, I realized that all of this is happening after I updated my bio and artist statement with the help from Brainerd Carey and Cheryl McGinnis, who's the gallerist. It cannot be a coincidence. I took my work to the next level as of September when I started doing landscapes, and this was like my 8th attempt at getting the artist statement right. But all of this processing of who I am as an artist that really helped me make my authenticity shine through and be something that people really wanted was done as a result of this group. I have been a member for almost a year. All I can say is keep going, keep upping your game, making authentic, truly original work. Listen to Brainerd and Cheryl and Julia, she's the editor, Julia, on presenting your work. If you're called to be an artist, it's not an easy road, but a sacred duty, and you can get there, said Rose. I mean, the encouragement, it's the case histories, but also it's the encouragement that people are offering. And remember, Sarah?
Hey there, I'm Sarah Kennedy. I'm a student at the Praxis Center with Brainerd Carey. I took the course, the Patrons and Sponsors course, and I just want to say it's been a total game changer for me as an artist. I went from feeling like it was annoying if I tried to ask for money for my art to feeling really confident and comfortable asking for money. It's been a total mind shift for me. And so far, using the methods that I learned on the Patrons and Sponsors class, I've raised almost $7,000 for my one-woman show. And I feel like I'm just at the beginning. I feel really confident that I can raise more money, and being a part of the community has been so helpful. Getting help from Brainerd, learning all of his methods. I highly recommend it if you're an artist.
Here's a sample of the gems in your VIP edition of Praxis Center membership. How to use these insider tactics for a never-ending supply of exhibits, right? And prestigious galleries and museums and biennials. Why you need to question every single person who tells you to do work for free to get exposure, and what to do instead if you want recognition from art critics, glowing reviews all over the press, and powerful curators discovering you. What never to do in artist statements, bios, and press releases if you want to avoid humiliating rejections. 3 idiot-proof ways to get sponsors and patrons so that you can finally get funding for your practice and make art without financial pressure. The letters are already written. The simple test that instantly identifies the 5 application landmines you have been stepping on all these years. This is why you never get the grants. 10 little tricks that once understood and practiced will make you a master of getting attention online so that everyone knows who you are and what kind of art you make and tells you so in comments. You also get 9 online courses, so you can learn how the artwork really works from the comfort of your home at your own pace without paying for travel and lodging. 1 is getting your art exhibited, your step-by-step guide to approaching galleries and getting your work shown, plus letter templates, plus word-for-word scripts to call galleries, plus a virtual classroom where you can ask questions and get personal feedback from a professional gallerist. 2, grant writing, how to find, write, and win grant applications. By the end of the course, you'll have a completed grant you can be proud of, plus fresh grant lists and opportunities every month. 3rd is artist statements. You can take these courses in any order, too. Artist statements, bios, and press releases. How to write yours so grant agencies, galleries, and journalists can help but call you back. Plus, an editor will personally edit your statement and bio. Social media strategy and web design. I review your website, give you steps to build or redesign your website, and social media secrets to get discovered online with minimum effort. Selling art online. This will take you by the hand and walk you through every step you need to build an online sales strategy and become a business representative for your art. Kickstarter. All you need to know about launching a successful Kickstarter project, including how to contact celebrities and high-profile individuals to help you with your campaign. Time management, how to effectively manage time and be in the studio more. Taxes and financial planning, an important aspect, right? To finding an accountant and dealing with estate planning. And art theory and essential reading for artists is books to read and discuss, which will give you context to your work, be fun to talk about, and help with writing about your work. With these industry tactics, you go from, I give up, I'm just going to paint in obscurity, the art market is bullshit anyway, to, wow, I've made it. I'm actually an internationally successful artist now, like so many you've seen, in as little as 1 year. But that's not all. You also get an Insider's Art Lounge with 23 expert lectures from international curators, experts on residencies, private dealers, art critics, grant writers, and a New York gallerist. And these are some of the lectures on blogging and guest blogging, email marketing, international biennials, mail and web campaigns, closing a sale, presenting your studio, lots of talks. The Mentor Network, you can ask all these experts questions in the groups and they will answer. So you can find the right way forward if you get lost or confused or frustrated as you navigate the higher tiers of the art market. There's a gallerist and a dealer, a curator and a writer who are there to answer questions. A new expert talk each month. For the first time, insider secrets about the art world is being taught directly by people who have succeeded at what they teach, like gallerists showing you how to get into a gallery, or grant writers explaining how to make a great proposal, so you know what really works, and the answer to, how the hell did that mediocre artist get this? Private access to an editor who will personally edit your statement so you can stand out from the crowd and wow grant agencies and galleries. Your Dear Abby of commercial galleries. Not sure what to read into a gallery's response? Ask a professional New York City gallerist in the group. Never again spend weeks agonizing over what to do and whether they hate your work. And bonus 6 is grant and residency lists. New list published every month. Be the first to know when a grant or residency is accepting applications. Private Facebook group has access to a community of artists, art professionals, and teachers so you never feel isolated in your practice again and get the practical and emotional support you need to thrive as a successful artist. Without a support system, it is nearly impossible to be an artist. Support, right? Van Gogh had Theo. Who do you have? A digital copy of my book you'll get is making it in the art world. And the most, oh my God, is this for real? Can he be this generous webinar bonus ever? My course, Patrons and Sponsors for Artists, normally $800. Imagine for a moment how your art would change if you knew how to find the names of potential local patrons. And you don't have to do this all on Facebook, but I'll explain that to you. You could befriend these people and create lasting relationships if you mastered the art of approaching businesses for sponsorships, all while creating a valuable network of peers, colleagues, and experts in the field. Webinar bonus number 2, professional editor for sponsor letters and applications. You'll get continued support from a professional editor for as long as you remain on the program, so you can keep getting your letters and applications edited. Your Dear Abby of patrons, not sure what to read into a response? Ask questions in the online classroom and have your communications reviewed personally by Brainerd as well as the other students. The bonus 4, your personal website review. 5, the author's inner circle, access to all of my future books ahead of the general public. You'll get advanced digital review copies like the critics and get. And I have some coming out on selling art online and social media. This amounts to a very realistic value of about $6,570 a year. Good thing is I'm not charging you that. Not even a quarter of that. Still giving you 10 times more valuable, more impact, more results. But there is a catch. You can only get this price within the next 3 days. After that, it goes back to full. And here's the instant access. The monthly is $59. Yearly is $595. You save a little bit. You get non-online courses, the 7 bonuses, plus the webinar only bonuses, the patrons and sponsors course, and everything that comes with it. Right now, you can get Praxis Center membership for $59 a month. You get access to the non-online courses, the 7 bonuses, the VIP bonuses that I mentioned. You can get it instantly, start using it within the next 60 seconds, and start seeing results. So here are a few hard questions for you. Would you rather get exhibited internationally or keep dealing with how unfair the art world is as you pay another month's storage fees for all your unsold artwork? Would you rather be a starving artist who toils away in obscurity or an international artist everyone envies with generous patrons and sponsors? Would you rather have a small, cramped studio in an apartment or a big studio and a comfortable home? Because that's what it boils down to, right? Choices. If this system does it to get you the freedom to be, do, or live the way you desire, or get you from toiling away in obscurity to get the peer recognition and commercial success you deserve, or finally allow you to break free from paying for a show and not selling art, would you agree that $59 a month is a tiny price to pay? It's almost insignificant, really. So this is what you could get today. All of that in the VIP edition. You have only 3 options at this point. You can choose to hire a high-priced consultant and pay them thousands with no guarantees. You can choose to do it on your own with no help, and then there's the dreaded silence, unreturned emails, leaving you without wind in your sails. You can choose to change paths altogether and get an MFA with no courses on how to get your work sold and end up in the same place, less money, more rejections. The choice is yours. Here's the addition. I'm going to answer all your questions in just for a minute. And absolutely do not pay for a show. I should remind you that there is absolutely no risk for you to try this. Literally 0 negative consequences. You can buy without worrying about losing your money. We offer 30-day guarantees. Your dignity. We won't shame you for refunding or your face. You get to keep it. The only thing you stand to lose is the humiliation of rejection, of obscurity, of watching artists who are worse than you making more. So unless you're enjoying getting hassled by your spouse, right? I'm sure you're not to give up already, if some of you are, because you're not showing or selling art and being miserable is your preferred state of being, go to the links and join me so you can do what Barry did, so you can overcome what Rose overcame, so you can have the life Ruth chose to create for herself. This is your chance. Now is your time. This is the VIP edition. I'm going to answer all of your questions now, and you don't have to necessarily be on Facebook. It definitely helps to be on Facebook, but you don't have to be on Facebook. So yes, I can post the offer here because I know that's not clickable, and there's limited seats in here for sure. And here's the annual one. And here is also what I promised you. Let me give you a few more things. How long artists roll in? I'm not sure what that question means, Vero. If you don't have the time right now, you can wait a little bit. You can start it when you're ready if you want to become a member today. So that's up to you. Let me give you a few other things here because you guys stayed to the end. Here is my book in 2 PDF documents. So, okay, you got contacted by a curator. For how long people stay as members, Vero says, you know, people who want the support keep staying on, and they keep doing it. Some stay 6 months, some stay a year. Some have never left. They want things edited. They want the support endlessly, and it's paying off. So they stay. It's whatever you want. So let's see again. Yeah, here's that 59 if you want that one, because there's limited seats in all of this. And I'm also going to give you the slide deck in a minute for those of you so you don't have to take the notes. Let's see. You are contacted by a curator from Berlin and they want a studio visit in 1 week. I currently don't have a studio. What to do? Well, you can meet them in a cafe. You can say my studio is I'm moving or I'm setting it up. Let's meet in a cafe. And you can, you know, show them things on an iPad. Talk to them. They want to talk to you and hear your ideas. Let's see. If we buy the annual membership, can it run through all of 2019, 13 months? Basically, it will. It will. You know. Absolutely, Holly. It basically is. It's running through the whole thing. And even if you're not using it this month, you'll see that you'll get inspired just by seeing what other people are doing. If you're already a Praxis member, yes, this is an upgrade. So when our class is given, it's at your own pace, Renee. It can happen at any time. There's lectures that happen once a month that are live, but everything's recorded and all the teachers remain available for questions. Yeah, and there's still more of these left. Some people are emailing me, which I can't really read right now, and ask me if more are left, and they are. They're here. And so what if you're not ready to start the program and maybe in 3 months, but want the $59 a month deal? Well, Brenda, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to be offering it then. If you want the deal, start it now and just get your feet wet in the first 3 months. Review some things. You don't have to jump in and be applying to things right away. You can just begin reviewing some of it. It's really nice to look at all the residencies and lists and grants just to get yourself excited and built up in your next 3 months. Ellen says she's gotten grants and residencies and have had collectors show in several galleries, but I want the one gallery that will make a significant difference. Absolutely. Well, there's one gallery that maybe could make a difference, but really you want several galleries. As you want a better gallery in one of those, then yeah, you have to pursue a better gallery. That would be through getting to the right curators as well. I work with a collective artist. You think an LLC can get a sponsor? Absolutely. There's no reason why you can't. Berlin curator question. Can you use a friend's studio? Sure, that's a good idea. Okay, our satellite shows such as Scope, Clio, well, that's a good question. The satellite art fairs often are not worth the cost. And the reason is that someone has to be there to really close deals. You get exposure, but if someone isn't there closing deals, you can have a lot of traffic, your art's up, and people are just walking by your booth. So there has to be a way you're really bringing people in and closing sales. And most artists don't do that. So unless you're hiring someone to close sales, I would say they're not worth the cost. Do I have private conversations? No, I generally don't, Renee. And you're also welcome. Great, glad you joined, Dorothy. That is the spots there. What else was there? The slide deck too is right here. Did I give that to you guys? There it is. Okay, let me see. Does a monthly sign up automatically charge me, or do I renew each month? It's automatic. It's a subscription. Do you have a specific art idea in mind before applying for a grant? Sometimes, yeah, at least where you're headed, you're going to keep making what you're doing, say that. And you're so welcome, Edie. And thank you so much, Aaron. Yeah, appreciate your support earlier on answering questions, and hope you can grab the offer too. And I look forward to seeing you in there. And this will benefit, yes, Rekha, artists who do not live in the U.S. Absolutely, same process. Okay. Does the membership include a personal editor for artist statements and applications? Yes. A year package will renew at the same cost. The deal stays yours. And welcome aboard, Dorothy. Let me see if I miss any questions. When we're asking patrons for support, Juliet says, aren't they wondering why we're not able to support ourselves either by having or several jobs selling our art? What do you think of us asking? I guess that's what I think of myself. Shouldn't be able to do this myself. No, they know that artists typically can't easily survive off selling their art. What if your art's large scale or not in the marketplace, something not easy to sell? They know the arts need support. That's like, you could say the same thing about a museum. Why is a museum asking for money? Don't they make a lot through memberships? Or through tickets? No, they don't. The arts need support. That's why there are patrons and nonprofits all over the world supporting them. Heather, my daughter and I are both artists and live together. We might have to fight each other for the use of the program. Well, if one of you joins, you could both share it. Juliet, when asking for patrons for financial support, I suppose no financial woes whining is more effective, right? How do we explain our inability to support our art making with it? You don't need a sob story. Absolutely not, Juliet. What you need is a dream and excitement. It's not about, I need more money or I can't do this. I'm in such a difficult position. It's, I have a dream that's large. And in order to achieve it, I need more support. That's quite simple. Most people understand that quite clearly. Dreams need to be supported. It's just that simple. And you can cancel the membership at any time. That's right. And that's where you clicked to get in there. And the slide deck. Let's see. When we ask for financial support, are we expected to lay out the budget and what our studio marketing and education coaching expenses are in order to? No, you don't have to give them a whole budget, Juliet. It's much simpler. If you're in the group, you'll see the templates for letters. It's much simpler. You're outlining a dream. You're explaining to them what's going on, and that's really most of it. Does the editing apply for press releases along with contacting nonprofits? Yes, it does, David. Personal website review, Renee. Well, when you post your website, I will review it. And do you have to be in Facebook? Someone asked. You don't have to be. There are some more things in Facebook and the community is there, but you can also do it just through the website where the courses are. Personal website review, I review your website. I look at it and I'll tell you what's going on. I'll tell you if it needs to be changed in any way, and if so, how. Yeah, and happy Thanksgiving to you, Carlene. Replying to a funded Fulbright? Sure, you have to talk about what you're going to be doing. Let's see, you will get a replay. The monthly thing is here for those of you who want this. It is limited, so let's see. Yes, you can work through the program at your own speed. And welcome to those who've signed up. Keep hearing everybody signing up. Well, great to have you all here. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. You're accepted into an international residency. Who pays for travel expenses? Are there grants for these? Yes, there are, Rich. Hey, Rich, how you doing? There are travel expenses associated. Many times they are funded. They come with scholarships. Sometimes you have to get a grant or a patron. Yes, absolutely. Rebecca, is 50% commission at galleries typical? Yes, it is typical. I did an international residency, says Tammy, and met an interesting gallerist who asked me to keep her informed of shows. I've sent her emails with information about shows, but I haven't heard back. Best way to keep her in the loop and ultimately get my foot in the door, to go to her gallery and see her work, compliment her. That's the best way to get your foot in the door there. She's interested in you, show an interest in her, and that'll get you very far. Is it realistic to pursue while I'm a student? Absolutely. Absolutely. Will this be beneficial to those without an art degree? It sure will be. No reason to, a degree doesn't necessarily help or hinder this process. Can you work through the program at your own speed? Yes, you can. You can do it quickly or however you want to do it. Let's see, do I look at each artist portfolio and statement? Yes, I do. I do. And welcome aboard, Villa, Michael, Stephen, Gaspar, Doreen, and Christian. Welcome aboard. Yes, Brian, if you don't have time to start till January, sign up now and get the special rate. And then you could have time to evaluate it and cancel it before then. But even if not, you're paying for 1 month for looking through lists and seeing what goes on, just checking out the Facebook group. You'll start to get a sense of what's happening and how it's working for people. Yes, they could work for an illustrator as well, Michaela. Okay. Do you have personal contacts within media outlets? I don't give you lists of media outlets, if that's what you mean, Sam, because it all depends on where you are. Local media is really the best. And welcome, Gaspar. Welcome aboard. Okay, you can't find the link to payment options. Here they are. Let's see. Where are we? Okay. Where are we here? Click here for the annuals. Great, great, great. If I'm asked to look at my studio, what do I tell them if I don't have one? My studio space is under my stairs in my hall. Again, you go out and see them somewhere. You can meet them somewhere. You can show them a small studio space, but it sounds like it would be ideal to go out and see them somewhere. Meet them at a cafe. That's okay to do too, and say I want to talk about my practice because my studio is in the process of moving. And ideally, get a bigger studio when you can. Thanks so much, William. Thanks for the compliments, everybody. You applied for the Rome Prize. Great. Yeah, can you get the slides? Yeah, I posted that, but I'll post it again here. That's the slides. Let's see. And yeah, other payment methods, email me. Reply to some of my emails. And don't do it by check, but if you need a PayPal button or something, let me know. Let's see. Yeah, sent you the webinar and slide links. Are the 9 courses given in order? You can take them in any order you want. I suggest an order like the order I went through here. So Juliet, the pricing is simple: $59 a month. It's what it is, or $595 a year. That's all that it is. There's no other complications to it. That's the 2 choices. And you can take the courses, Kylie, in any order you like. Yeah, international residency, they're not regional. They tend to be international. They're all over the world. So so most of them are international. That's what it means. They're in countries all over the world, and they're looking for artists from all over the world. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Sandy, yeah, if you want to send a check, sure, for the year, you could do that. Is it applicable for international? I'm not sure what that means, but yes, for international artists, you're in other countries, it's applicable. Well, you'll see, when you enroll, you'll get some emails from me immediately, and you can begin to jump into it immediately, and you'll get instructions on how to begin. And yes, it's, okay, what do I tell myself? Is there really enough? What do I tell myself when I think, is there really enough wall space in this world, Juliet? Well, there certainly is. There's a lot of wall space. There's a lot of galleries, and you tell yourself it's not about wall space. It's also about who you are and your artwork. There's lots of room in this world for more art and unique art that has its own message, and you have your own message. How do we get Facebook private group access on email? I'll give you a link to access the group is how that works, if I'm understanding you right, Christian. Are you suggesting Art Basel shows are not worth pursuing? No, I'm not saying they're not worth pursuing, but I'm saying if you're the one that asked that question before, satellite fairs like Scope and Pulse and others that you're paying to be in aren't worth pursuing unless you're planning on closing all those sales yourself. What's great about art fairs, if you have a gallery, is if they bring your work to the art fair. And thank you guys for saying such nice stuff. And here's where you sign up again. I just posted the 2 links there. And if you want a PayPal button, write to me, Rick, and I'll send you one. Let's see. You're seeing my post. I'm not getting responses. Let me see. Going through all of it. Where do we sign up? I sent you the link to sign up. Is it applicable for immigrants who do not have North American education? Absolutely. Is it applicable for immigrants who do not have North American? Absolutely. How does the local art education, how is important as a rise to a career? It's minimal. Traditionally, art education is not important. What's important is showing in your art. J2, I guess I'm not seeing your post. Please post again. I want to get to everyone if I missed your question. Yeah, Juliet, that could be one of the things to get a bigger studio. Hope to see you aboard, Juliet. Can I demystify matching grants and fiscal sponsorship? Well, okay, matching grants means specifically you get an opportunity, or you get a grant that says, here's a $5,000 grant, but you have to, match that with raise 5,000 to get it. We'll match every dollar you get up to 5,000. That's what that is. Fiscal sponsorship means if you want to apply to a grant that is only for organizations, fiscal sponsorship means it has to go through an organization. That's what that means. Let's see. You mean courses cover us? And I'm going to post. If you stay on, Rick, I'll post the. I'll post that in a minute. A PayPal thing. Okay. Do I mean your courses cover us? Okay. I mean, do your courses cover us pricing our artwork? Yes, absolutely. I'll help you with pricing your artwork. That's in here too. Let's see. Scotty says, I feel the residencies are the key, but I'm really solidly trapped in a mountain village with 12 rescue animals and negative income. I'm going to talk this over with my friend. Okay. Would you suggest to join a local art league with monthly payment? No, I wouldn't suggest you join a local art league with a monthly payment. Yes, here is a PayPal button. Just use that if you have to, because I'll have to manually put them in the courses, but here is the PayPal button, May and Rick. Okay, let me see. I did make the PayPal button. Thank you. I always feel like I have time to add one more thing to my schedule. And here's, to go directly to it. The credit card is better than PayPal, but they're both there. Yes, I do address pricing strategies. Absolutely. Let me make sure that, and you can reply to me if I didn't answer something right here, but I'm still going through it all. J2, I don't see your questions popping up, but I'm going through them all. Be sure you write to all panelists. What else does one do, Doreen says? Born like this, done with everything else. Thanks, I'm excited. I'm visiting New York City next month. Is there an actual place that is Praxis Center? No, we don't have a storefront or a physical school. Will you be able to email you with specific questions as an enrolled student? You can ask me any specific question you want in the group. That's where the specific questions are asked. But absolutely, you can ask me any questions, Cricket. Absolutely. Okay, Karen, I'm looking for your. Oh, post them on the chat. Post in the chat. Maybe you're not posting in the chat. The Q&A, I can look at that soon, but I'm going through the chat. It's not important to have a body of work ready to exhibit straight away. You would still get benefit. Yeah, it's about presenting the work that you have and the dreams that you have. Okay, and for those that asked, I did put in the PayPal link. I see some of you are using it. What are your thoughts about residencies that ask for a work to be left behind? Depends what kind of a residency and what they're really talking about. I prefer not to leave work behind. Does the size of your paintings matter? Depends on the gallery. You should paint whatever you want to paint. And here's the link to sign up, because people keep asking. Okay, J2, I see. Oh, I'm seeing. Let's see. Thanks, Brainerd. We'll be in touch. Thanks for all the great info. What are your thoughts about residencies? Oh, yeah. Does the size of your paintings matter? No. Okay. Is it bad to get your artwork? J2, there it is. Artwork in the world, if you're not sure if it's good. Well, only you know if it's good, right? But it's important to put your work out there. Absolutely. That's also how you're going to get feedback. Not bad to do that at all. Thank you all for saying nice things. Feedback on the website, I get back to you within 48 hours, sometimes sooner. Can you go to a gallery at a later date with new work if they're not interested at first? Yeah, you could. Go visit the gallery more, Karen. The free copy of the book is also right here. I'll paste that in 2 parts. Let's see. So I put that in there, Gina. Great, Rick. Great to have you aboard. Are there platforms within Praxis Center to have group discussions between members and professionals? It's all on Facebook, and it's live, but that's as dynamic as it gets. Yeah, the deadline, the hard deadline is I forgot what it is, in four or 5 days. It's set up to something like that. Coming up fast. Is it beneficial to go to residencies that charge you to attend? Depends on the residency. Has to be a residency that has good curators coming through. Yes, if you ever site set in New York City, absolutely, Karen, go for it. And you're welcome, everybody. Thanks for saying such nice things. Do you work with book artists? Absolutely. Love book artists. I'm a book artist myself. I've spent a lot of time making books at the Center for Book Arts in New York and exhibiting them. If you sign up today, you'll be billed for December at about the same time this month. Okay, let's see. Thank you. Does square in the frame mean no background edges? Yes. Yes, that's all. It doesn't have to be a square painting. It just has to not, have angles in it. You don't want those little triangles on the side. It has to look professional. I was told I was a finalist at a Hawaiian residency, then a day later I got rejected. Expensive dollars to apply. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You can call the residency and ask them, Roxanne. It's good to call and ask questions about. Can they tell you why you got rejected? Is there a, you can ask them, is there a, juror's notes? Sometimes they give you feedback. The courses you can go through on your own, that's right, Juliet, and it's based off a website where all the courses are. The group isn't on LinkedIn, Jenny, but it is on Facebook, and you could also do it through the website that I have if you don't want to use Facebook. You're so welcome, Gina. I'll send you an email about the exact time, Juliet. Let's see. Do you have to go any extra steps to propose to a collaborative group show to a gallery curator? No, Jordan, you have to get to know them. Hope to see you in the group. There's still spots left, so I hope to see you guys in there. Anybody that's still on the fence, hope you jump in. There's 30-day money-back guarantee. Some people are asking, so there's no, no risk. Are there brief residencies? Yes, there actually are. There's some that are 10 days. Was your Hawaiian residency? Oh yeah, that's interesting. It might have had to do with them erupting. Yeah, Kalua. Do you know anything about the GAA Foundation in Venice? It's sponsored by Dutch agencies, but it costs $15,000. Absolute waste of time. Don't do that, Ifri. It's wrong. That's a terrible thing that they do in places like the Venice Biennial. Charge people thousands of dollars for a space. It's not worth it. It's not part of the Biennial. Great. So glad you guys are so signed up. Let me see if I can find some questions in the Q&A here. Okay, so yeah, the Q&A, let me see. I have some more questions here. I wanted to get it all in the chat, but Alfred wants to know how to price his work. You begin with what you think people can afford, and if you sell a work at that price, you keep increasing it. It's really that simple. You don't have to price them thousands of dollars. See what other artists are selling them for around you. See what galleries around you are selling them for. Alfred, I sold my artists in the past. In the past, my husband took ill and put a hold on my career. Will I find a market for my work? Yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to. Is there any benefit to getting to residencies that require payment? There can be if there are good curators coming through. Thanks for your time and advice. Okay, Cheryl, do you work with book artists? Oh, yeah, I answered that. If you have started to write down a proposal, Orlando asks, and have a bunch in mind, how do you know which works better? If you mean a proposal for what? If you're talking about residencies, you want a residency that You want to propose, you want a residency that you know is going to have good curators there, and that'll be listed in there. And yeah, you got the slides in the chat. And so just look at the chat and I'll get you there. Well, let me put them in right here. And here's also for, let me see. You can do that. Yeah, I haven't used this part before. So now you guys that are in the chat, I'm going into the question area because that's another part of it. If you want the slides, let's see. Here they are. Let me just give that to you. There you go. Thanks, William. Let's see. You can pay by the month or by the year. Either way, here, I'll give you the links for that. You can pay by the month or the year. These are the two options. And Juliet, I think you answered that question in the other one. Let me see. Is there a certain size of oil painting that you should stick to? No, there isn't. How can you get funding to help me pay for your studio? Let's see. So there is no size that you need specific. You should paint what you like. How do I get patrons to buy my art? Invite them to your studio, as I was saying. And I think I answered everything else here. Once an international, oh, you want a PayPal link? Okay, one moment. Let me see, where is that? Okay, you want a PayPal link. Here you are, Daryl. Once an international exhibition has been awarded, may you please share with us what you do beyond booking a shipping company? How does one make sure their work arrives as safe as return? Words of wisdom. Well, that's for the international shipping company, and it's ideal to even travel with your work if possible. Beth says, I have a previous art style that's more realistic. Now that my work is abstract contemporary, is it wrong to put both styles in the same gallery? The gallery will determine that. You know, probably one body of work should go in one gallery and one should go in another gallery. Okay, let me check out the chat. There's two windows here for what's going on. So let me see. You review grant proposals? Do they look at your current financial records? They often don't, Roxanne. Some are need-based. There are grants that are need-based where they're asking you to kind of talk about and prove your need, but they're not all need-based. But some of them are. And it will factor into their funding. Is an international piece extra for my current practice membership? Yeah, that's the difference. So if you're a current practice member at $40 a month, that would be your current. You could upgrade to this. Just email me about that. I think I talked about tips on pricing art. Great, Rick. See you inside there too. Okay, is there anything else? I think I got everyone's. Someone has emailed me several times asking for the link, so I can email them back, but here it is. The $40 a month option does not include the patrons and sponsors course and support. And that will be offered again when this runs out. Let's see, and is there any other questions? Where can you get funding and paid to buy your studio, to buy your art? Yeah, JM, that would be, as I discussed, talking about finding patrons, building relationships. And, you know, besides where I talked about the lists of them and on museums and nonprofit centers, those people will also come to the openings of all of those places. So you get them there, that's for sure. Let's see, have I missed anybody? Teresa talks about having success. Great. So glad, Teresa. I don't know. Have I missed anybody? I'm working as an arts educator and looking to balance my income. So can I make a decent income selling art or exhibiting work? Potentially, Sissy. Depends on what you do and how you want to do it, how much time you want to put into it. Valerie, where do you access templates? That'll be in the courses. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Am I 139? 56? I think I've gotten everybody's questions. I'm not sure. Is it better to sell through a gallery or develop your own web shop and marketing? A gallery is, you don't need to enter a coupon, Heather, at all. The price is as it is. You don't need to enter anything like that. There's no coupon. It's the price, the discount price is in there. Is it better to sell through a gallery or develop your own web shop and marketing? Both can be good. It's good to sell through a gallery because they handle it for you and they have a reach to a market. Is it hard to get a residency if you've only been in 3 to 5 exhibitions in a gallery? No, not necessarily. Absolutely not necessarily. So you can do that. So that's one. It's just having art and a vision. Do the galleries pay for production costs of your work so they invite you to a show? Rarely they do, but usually no. Usually they don't pay for production costs unless you've been with them for a while and and you're doing some large scale work. And let's see what else. Juliet, yes, it's billed automatically. Is it helpful to know the local language at international residency? No, Daryl. English is spoken everywhere. Let's see. Any other questions? The classes, Renee, you'll see it all when you sign up, but they're happening all the time. You can access them at your own rate. There are live talks, and you'll know about them, but the classes themselves are. You can take them at your own pace. You can take them at night. You can take them whenever you like. Where do you sign up for the monthly? The monthly would be right here. That's it. Thanks. Expensive for artists, so they need to frame, cast. The patrons course is included. I said the patrons course is included, Juliet. For both of these, the patrons course is included for both payment plans there. So yeah, that's included. Let's see, any other questions? Any other questions from you guys? Do I pay for production costs of works when they invite you to a show? Oh, I answered that. Okay. And let's see, any other questions in this other? It's odd. They have 2 forms for questions. Okay, I think I got to everyone, unless someone has another question. Someone's raising their hand, which I'm not sure what that means in this context. Where you sign up for the link for monthly, okay, it's right here. There it is. Do you see it now? It's right there. There's the monthly one. And what is VIP? That's the special one that I'm doing now. VIP stands for a very important person, which is you. So RMKS, I hope you see that so you can sign up. And let's see, regular versus VIP. Regular is without the patrons and sponsors and all the other things that I outlined. And square in the frame, I think I mentioned that before, but square in the frame means when you photograph your work, that the edges, the background is there's no angles in the background, that it's photographed straight and square and dead on. It's okay if your work is rectangular. You know how when you photograph work at an angle, the sides start looking like they're you know, like it's tilted a little bit, like it's not no longer square or rectangle that the sides come out. That's what I mean. Um, yeah, you'll be able to find the patrons and sponsors course when you're logged in. That's great. How do you get the pros to rewrite your bio? It's not included. It is included, Rebecca. The way you get to get them is you post it in the Facebook group, and I get back to you within 48 hours or sooner, as do other people. I'm off on the weekends, but I very often do jump in on the weekends. But I'm there Monday through Friday answering questions all the time, always within 48 hours. And if you don't have Facebook, you can write to me through the group itself. Celia asked about residencies and letters of recommendation. How do you get started with this? A little, okay, and someone's asking about the links to join. Here they are. Limited amount of time to get in there. So if you're still interested, jump in now. Jump in now. So let's see. Okay. RMKS. Let's see. Do you see it now, RMKS? You click right on the link that I just sent to you. Do you see that? Is there a better platform to use than Instagram and a website to market yourself? Yeah, talking in person to people. No, but Instagram is the popular platform, and a website is the dominant platforms. So RMKS, you know, I hope you got that. Let me know if you don't. If you're on the enrollment page, Morgan, you click enroll, and you'll see. You can scroll up a tiny bit, but you'll see it. If not, just go right here. Let me see. Morgan, go right there and you'll see it. You see that, Morgan? That link I just sent you? That puts you just into the right spot on the page, and you can do it right there. Yeah, Ed, if you're logged in, look at all your courses, and you should see it in there. You should see it in there. If not, you can send an email to me, and I'll make sure that's straightened out. But you should, once you log in to the Praxis website, you'll see all your courses, and you can go to the patrons and sponsors course and look at the first module and begin right away there. Let me see, am I missing? Oh, letters of recommendation. Celia asked about references for residencies and letters of recommendation. How do you get this started with little exhibition record? You don't need a big exhibition record to get a letter of recommendation, but many places do not ask for a letter of recommendation. That's not always the case. And usually letters of recommendation are more character, you know, they want to know that you're not crazy, basically, you know. So they're character assessments. You should be able to find that, Ed. Let me know if you can't. You can email me. Let's see, is there anything else? Okay, two more. Lena joined. Great, awesome. Great to have you aboard. Nice to have you here, Lena. So welcome aboard. Great, that's so nice, Ifri. I don't know what your name is, and glad to say you got help from me a few years ago. She's saying something very nice, and I appreciate that. That's kind of you. Heather, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, everyone who's here in this special. So glad to hear that. How many live sessions during the year enrollment? It changes, but at least 12, probably more. There's usually more. Oh, hi, Leslie. Yes. Vermont, I remember you. I will be in Vermont tomorrow, probably not near you since it's a gigantic state, but I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving in Vermont tomorrow. And so glad you got on board, Morgan. Great to have you here. And yeah, there's live sessions. There's more things I'm adding to it all the time. If there's also certain talks you need, great to tell me what those are, and I will, and I'll do them. You know, I'll speak to specific topics. If there's something that, you know, you're not sure about, or something like that, I'll speak to certain topics. So so don't hesitate to ask about anything, or ask me to do a certain topic if you'd like me to, and it's not addressed in some of the courses. I'm here to help and bring in experts who can help. Let's see. Yes, the wonderfully small progressive state. It's true. let's see. Price after the offer ends. After the offer ends, this won't be available at all. It'll be closed. We have a chance to think about it during the replay. Yes, you will, Karen. Oh, I can't wait to see the snow, Leslie. I'm looking forward to that. I just hope I make it all the way up there, and the car that I have doesn't slip all over the roads. Well, I emailed the deck. Here's the deck right here. Greg, RMKS, I don't know what your name is, but glad you got in there. There's the slide deck. Was it Morgan that asked that? Cheryl asked that. Cheryl, oh, great, Ed, glad you found the module. Yeah, and in the second module, Ed, there's also some template letters, and in the Facebook group, which you'll be encouraged to join, that's where you'll see people like Barry and others that, what if we come in for a few months and then take a break and want to come back for further support? Yeah, Juliet, come in for a few months, see how it is. You can cancel at any time. Jump in, Juliet. Take the leap. Sound like you're right on the edge? Jump. if you're feeling up to it. Let's see, any other questions? I want to be sure that all of you guys get everything answered. So if there's anything else, don't hesitate to ask. I am here, and I'll be gone in a few minutes if that's about it. That was great. Let's see, you guys asked such great questions. And let me see, any more over here? Letters of recommendation. I think I covered Celia's question. All right, Scotty, good to hear that. Ed, the link to Facebook, that should be when you start reading the first modules. It should be right in there. I can't post it here because it's only for people who have joined, and but you'll see it in the first thing there. There's two groups actually, Scotty. There's one for patrons and sponsors where that's all we talk about and work on is the letters there, and then there's another Facebook group that's specific to everything else. The price will not remain the same after we take a break, most likely. So let's see. Morgan, emailing me with private questions is not part of it. I want everything to be asked in the Facebook group. But Morgan, if you need to ask me something that's so private it can't be in the group, by all means ask me. And Scotty, yes, that's right. You'll be guided through it. There's two Facebook groups. One is only for patrons and sponsors because that's its own intensity and I think needs its own kind of support. And then there's a group for everything else where we're editing websites and texts and all kinds of things like that. So great, Gaspar. Right, you're in. So glad you are. Morgan, you'll get that by email. I can't post links to the Facebook groups here because that's only for people who joined, like yourself, and I can't post that to everybody, or otherwise I'll get really confused. Everyone will ask to join it, and I'll have to figure out who's an enrolled student and who isn't. Well, I want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. I'm really thrilled to have you guys here. It was great talking to all of you. Morgan, Scotty, Gaspar, Jenny, Thomas, Renee, Kathleen, Ed, Karen, Juliet. Really nice to hear from all of you, and thank you, RMKS, for wishing me a happy Thanksgiving, and I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving as well. If you're in Europe or other places in the world, I wish you a wonderful day and weekend. All right, so thanks everyone. I'll close this out now, and again, I wish you all well, and thank you again for being part of this. I believe I got it all. Scotty, great. Love from Spain. Love back to Spain. My wife's from Spain, Madrid, so I love Spain and would like to be there more. She's a Madrilena. So Scotty, thanks for the love from Spain. Really my favorite place in the world. And thanks to all of you guys. Yeah, Madrid's wonderful. I mean, all over Spain's great. I like Madrid, but I also really like Barcelona and I don't know. I like traveling all over Spain. The north is really great for me. I mean, I love it all. I love Spain. The food is amazing. Okay, so everyone have a great Thanksgiving, yes. And if you're in Europe, have a great day, have a great weekend. And praxis means practice. It's about a process, a praxis. It means to practice. Great, Maria. Yeah, I love Barcelona. Perhaps we'll say hello if we're swinging by. I love Barcelona, but such a beautiful, beautiful city. Wishing you all well, and again, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I wish you well. Practice and action, that's right. That is it. Which is what it's all about, right? Praxis, it's about actions to take. It's about your art is your praxis. It is your practice that is an action that you keep pursuing, right? That's what art is. It's a praxis. Thank you all. And again, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Great to meet you all. Wonderful day wherever you are in the world. If some of you still can't find the links, there they are. And I'll put in a few more links here to everything else. That's my book in 2 PDFs, the slide deck, and which you only get for being on here, as well as everything else. So there we are. Wishing you well, and have a great, great day, everyone. Wonderful, wonderful to meet you all.